Hello everyone and welcome back to TSW5 where we are continuing our full playthrough of the Thomas and Friends Visit the West Somerset Railway add-on story mode. This is episode 3, Confusion and Delay, which if I remember my Thomas lore correctly, I think was Diesel's catchphrase. Like whenever he tried to stop Thomas, he'd say like, "Oh, this is going to cause confusion and delay." Anyway, I'm probably wrong. All you Thomas nerds will let me know down in the comments. Thomas awakes to the aftermath of Diesel's devious deeds, which was in the previous episode.
Confusion and delay. A few hours later, Thomas awoke, tired but excited for the day ahead. He looked all around the station and took in all the new sights and sounds in front of him. He then spoke to Annie and Clarabelle. Morning, Annie. Morning, Clarabelle. But there was no reply. Thomas looked over and realized his friends were no longer beside him. Annie? Clarabelle? Where are you?
Why is he smiling?
He suddenly heard a chorus of voices from a nearby siding. Thomas! Bust my buffers, he cried. How did you get over there? Don't worry, I'm coming to get you.
Right.
It looks like those troublesome trucks are still in the way. We need to move them before we can rescue Annie and Clarabelle.
Right. Headlight on. Right. Don't need to worry about manual points because they've already been set for me. I love that setting where it automatically sets those manual junctions. Saves me a lot of bother. So where are we stopping? Okay, it wants us to stop here. Just over the level crossing. We're restricted to 10 miles an hour in the yard. And because we're also on a dedicated heritage railway, the top speed that we can legally get up to is only 25 miles an hour. And I can't overspeed since I'm trying to complete a full run of the story mode all the way up to gold level. So I have to not overspeed, otherwise my score will suffer as a result. So I just have to be very careful when monitoring the velocity. Man, I know this add-on is really controversial, but I like it. And I can understand why some people would not like it. Alright, here we go. Right, we now have to wait for the signal, for the barriers to go back down. I can hear him faintly. Right, we are clear. One thing that I liked that the developers did not touch about this was the signaling system. It's all the they didn't try to simplify the signaling. They just kept it the same. Which is nice, because that makes it feel more realistic. I love how NPCs can now ride bicycles. That's one of the new things that came with the update to the West Somerset Railway that came with the Thomas add-on. NPCs can now ride bicycles for some reason. Don't know why, it's just a thing. Right, we're backing up. We gotta get these troublesome trucks out of the way first. Ugh. Easy does it. Easy does it. Bit hard to couple on these simplified controls.
You troublesome trucks are always causing confusion and delay.
Yeah, one thing the developers did miss a trick though is that I don't know if this is a thing back in the model era, but the troubles in the CGI era, I remember the troublesome trucks always yelling faster, 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 and like doing cackling noises to try to encourage the locomotive hauling them to go to, well, get into an accident, which seems a bit counterintuitive, but anyway. Unfortunately, in this add-on, they don't do that. That'd be very funny if they did, if I'm being honest, but I wonder why that isn't a thing. Right. You fellas need to be gotten out of the way. The troublesome trucks are a rehash of the little hopper wagons we already had with Spirit of Steam, but they are authentic to Thomas and Friends, so I'll give the developers that. Like, they did modify them to be authentic to the series, and also gave the dynamic suspension too. Like, look at that. They bounce every time you go over a bump. One thing I also wish had been implemented was guard mode for Annie and Clarabelle in the timetable mode, but I suppose that was too much to ask. Right, full stop. Alright. We're going to have to back up in a minute. I need to keep a close eye on that signal. So where are we backing these little fellas up to? Alright. Barrier is going down. Barrier is clear. Look at their faces. The face animation is slightly creepy though. Like, I would not want this guy looking at me. Ugh, it's still admirably done though. The animation itself, even if it is a bit creepy. Alright, easy does it. Easy. Easy. And stop. Right.
The track is clear now, so we can go and collect Annie and Clarabelle.
Right, gotta uncouple the ye olde troublesome trucks, so I'll just do it the old-fashioned way and go walk out and do that. And not use the drone camera, Wait for that to acknowledge. There we go. Seems to be a core game thing that when you couple or uncouple something as an objective, it just takes a bit, and I don't know why. Alright, here we go. Alright, you gotta go back to that signal. So then I presume we'll then go back in, couple Danny and Clarabelle, and then get them to the platform, and then we can be on our merry way, even if we are a bit late. Yeah, one thing... Yeah, look at that weird visual glitch when you get the camera close. I don't know why that's a thing. That seems to be a thing. It's not that noticeable unless you do what I just did and put the camera right next to it, but it's still a bit annoying. I wonder why I have to go across this level crossing before I can back up. That just seems to be a bit of a traffic. That just seems as it would just cause a queue. Right, stop. There we go. Now we just have to wait. Yeah, we're going to couple Danny and Clarabelle. Right. Barrier's going down. We are clear to go. The detail on Thomas is really nice. Like, look at all the little weathering and the rivets and everything. Just makes it seem like really cool. Like, if I was still 7, I'd have absolutely loved to have this. But yeah, I'm an adult and I like playing with this sort of thing. For some reason, Thomas also seems to appeal to a lot of adults as well, and this has really gotten me back into Thomas. I haven't watched any of the show, but I have enjoyed running around with this. It's definitely something interesting. It's definitely something different to do, is what I meant to say. Because, yeah, like, sometimes it can get a bit repetitive running around with, like, the British Rail diesels that you get with, or Preservation era diesels that you get with the normal WSR timetable. And then also, running with the other stock can get a bit repetitive. This is something a bit interesting to run around with. Easy. Nice. That was very good.
Hello, you two. It's good to see you're both okay. But how did you get here? We don't know, Thomas, cried Annie. Perhaps an engine from this railway put us here, thinking we were just ordinary coaches.
Maybe like one of the Class 09s, maybe.
That is strange, said Thomas, puzzled. Maybe it was by accident. But we can't stand here all day, he added. We still have a lot to do before the special event tonight. And now we're running late, so we need to hurry.
Right, we have to go back to that signal. But of course, seeing as we played the previous episode, we absolutely know better. It's Diesel sneaking around at the crack of dawn. One thing I do like about this route is, if you notice, I'm going to go into the drone camera real quick. So look at how, like, smooth this rail is and how reflective it is. And then look at the track over here. Look how rusty that is and how underused that is. That is so cool. I think that was actually a feature introduced when this route was remastered, like the differently weathered rails. And that just adds like a little touch of realism to like the more to the less used like little um branch branch sidings. Nope, it's that way. Ugh. Sometimes I get these keys mixed up. It's definitely Thomas is definitely a lot simpler to drive than say the Class 33 or 52, which are the DLC, which are the other two DLCs for this route. Gotta wait for the signal to change, and then we gotta go stop at the main platform at Minehead for the run up to Bishop's Lydiard. I love the interiors on Annie and Clarabelle. It just seems like it's like the seat stitching especially is a really nice touch. Almost there.
Thomas arrived at the platform, and the passengers began to climb aboard Annie and Clarabelle. As he was waiting, Mr. Peters walked up and greeted him warmly. Morning, Thomas. I hope you and your coaches are feeling well rested and ready for work. Good morning, Mr. Peters, sir, smiled Thomas. We certainly are, and we're looking forward to starting our journey. I'm sorry we're running a little late this morning. That's all right, Thomas, said Mr. Peters kindly. Just make sure you try and make up for the lost time. I'll try, sir, puffed Thomas. Mr. Peters smiled. That's a good engine, he said. Our passengers are our top priority here on the West Somerset Railway, and we must do everything we can to ensure that they all have a wonderful time. Don't worry, sir. We'll make sure they all have a great time. That's what I like to hear, continued Mr. Peters. It looks like you're almost ready to go. But I'll be sure to come and find you later and see how you're getting on. And with that, he turned and walked away to attend to other things. Thomas was still waiting for the last of the passengers to get on board, and he was eager to set off. Luckily, he didn't have to wait for long. It looks like everyone's on board, called Clarabelle. We're ready to go now, Thomas, said Annie. That's good, puffed Thomas. Let's get going and see if we can make up for lost time.
Platinum medal, that's what I'm talking about. So... Okay, so yeah, that'll be all for this episode, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.